I tried to do a cool spinning intro, but obviously that didn't work for me. Today we're making fasulia, or fasulia is how we say it. It's a bean and chicken stew, pretty much, a red stew in tomato sauce. So first I fry some onions, and then I brown the outsides of the chicken in those onions, and then I'm going to add some tomato paste, which is, people are always like, oh, you don't season it. It's like, you don't need seasoning when you're making a stew like this, because you add seasoning to the broth and the chicken just absorbs it. So that was tamarind and tomato paste and water, and you just let the chicken cook, and it's become so tender. Like, this is the trick to getting any chicken super tender, is browning it and then cooking it in like a broth or something. So you see how quickly it just like cuts through the chicken there. Just like falls apart later on too. Yeah, you can see that. Nice chicken breast. And then you add your very well rinsed hair-cut beans. You can either use dry and soak them overnight, or just use canned, but just rinse it really well. Add your seasonings, add some lemon juice, and that's pretty much it. It's really healthy, it's really yummy. Oh, pomegranate molasses for that, like a little sweet zang right there. That's optional for sure. And then there you have it, very healthy. You usually eat this over a bed of like white rice. You can also thicken up the stew a little bit more, but because I'm eating just the stew itself, I like it a little bit more runny, because it's kind of like soupy and hearty, chili in a way, but like super healthy version. So we're going to make my second favorite Iraqi dish of all time. It's called speinach. Essentially, it's a spinach stew based closely on the Persian dish called horme sebzi. We have cilantro, spinach, parsley, green onion, and dill. And we're going to wash it all, chop it all up, and make it into a beautiful stew. So let's get started. And I cut everything small, صح? Not this one. So the herbs have all cooked down, and we're going to slowly start to add our spinach. Now, normally speinach is made with a lamb or beef, but we're trying to make this as macro-friendly as possible, so we swap that out for a lean chicken breast. And if you want to make this vegan or vegetarian, all you have to do is remove the meat, and it's still going to be amazing. عاش ايدك سارة. شكرا سارة. Yum. My God. I'm so hungry. This is better than any pizza place you'd ever have, because you control what goes in it and you control your macros. Next time you think about buying pizza, if you have time, just make it. I can't stop eating. Today's Friday, so you know what that means. We get a cheat meal, but we're still going to make that meal macro-friendly, of course. And today we're going to make some homemade pizza all from scratch. And we're going to start with the dough. We start off with the dough. So I combine yeast with some sugar, and then I put some more water to let the yeast rise. Then obviously flour, add that yeast mixture, some water, some olive oil, and then kneading the dough, which is the most important part. You got to knead that a lot in order to make a really soft dough. So once you're done kneading, you let it rise for 2 hours. That's when I prep my toppings. So I have a lot of different toppings going on, and I'm also stuffing the crust. So as you can see, I'm making the edges a little bit thinner to put the crust in, so that I can fold it over and not kind of lose a lot of space on the pizza. So I have some sliced mozzarella that I'm putting in around the pizza, and then combing it over and then just making sure it's all secured so that it doesn't leak out once it starts cooking. I think the prime thing for this pizza is putting pesto under the tomato sauce. It makes it so much better. So next time you make your homemade pizza, try putting a little bit, like a thin layer of pesto right under your tomato sauce. It's gonna be so good. Obviously it's basil pesto, and then a little bit of mozzarella cheese. I don't like that much cheese, so I put a really thin layer, and then I have some turkey kielbasa. Obviously you can do pepperoni, some chicken, some hot peppers for that heat, some sauteed peppers, some mushrooms, some pineapple, and then top it off with a little bit of Parmesan. And the best part is the crust. I put za'atar mixture on the edge so it gets really nice and crispy from that olive oil, but also the taste of the za'atar. You cook it, beautiful. Did you expect me to stuff the crust and then put za'atar on top? Neither did I. But look at how it holds. That is some good crust. Bro, this is so good. Today we're making a mac and cheese a la Princess from Babylon. Now I put a lot of veggies and other things in my mac and cheese, and I know a lot of people won't like this, but I'm gonna show you how I make mine. So I have garlic, onions, jalapenos. This is turkey kielbasa for a little bit more protein. And then I make a mushroom crema separately so that it's warm and kind of ready to go. So I just put mushroom, milk, I add some cream cheese, and then a lot of spices, mostly Cajun, and like what you would put in a taco seasoning. Then I start making my roux with all the veggies that I cut up with the turkey kielbasa. I put some flour, and then I mix it, and then I'm gonna add the crema to it. So it's gonna thicken up a lot, but to thin it out, I use the pasta water to make it nice. I'm gonna add the cheese, make it nice and cheesy, and now you'll see the pasta water is really gonna thin it out. It's a little bit thick there, but we want it a little bit thin because when you put the pasta in, it absorbs a lot of water. So then we just mix it up, and literally that's the recipe, and it's probably gonna be the best tasting mac and cheese you ever have in your life. I had to do an ab check because I just made the most grotesque cake, grotesque in the way that it's so sweet and so sugary. It was a request for a birthday, and I had warned them. I said, this is gonna be so sweet, and they said, I don't care, do it up. So I was like, okay. They wanted red velvet brownie base, but an Oreo cheesecake filling. So what I did was I took the middle of the Oreo and I flattened it out to the size of the cake. So that's gonna be one of the fillings that we use. And then I took a cheesecake filling, added the crushed Oreo biscuit, mixed that up, and then also put it into the pan size. That's going to be another filling that we used. As you can see where this is going, it's like a super chocolatey, super thick. I froze everything just so it's easier to put together. Here are all the components: red velvet, brownie, and everything else. So red velvet, and then I put some frosting, and then I put the Oreo, and then brownie, and then the other Oreo, and then I finished it off with the top of the red velvet. This is so, I think I had like one bite and I was like, I can't even eat more. And then a chocolate frosting, and they wanted it to be covered with crazy stuff. They love Reese's Pieces. So the bottom was regular Reese's, the top was white Reese's, then chocolate covered Oreos and chocolate covered pretzels, and this was it. It was very sweet but yummy.